We can go ahead and get started with our candidate forum. Okay, so we're here tonight for our Santa Maria Mayor Candidate Forum. It's an opportunity for our community to get to know our candidates and find out a little bit more about what their plans are and how that will fit. My name is Lisa Thornhill. I'm a member of the League of Women Voters, North Santa Barbara County. I am part of the leadership team. I am second vice president and I oversee program planning. The League of Women Voters are a nonpartisan organization. The National League of Women Voters was formed over 100 years ago, and we have been a part of Santa Maria Valley for over 50 years. So we have brought forums to our community every election cycle, and hopefully some of you have had the opportunity to participate. We are very proud of our heritage, and we are also progressive in our approach to nonpartisan voter education and advocacy work. Our top priorities are to register voters and help educate the community to assist with informed voting. We have a lot of literature here available tonight. One of those are our pros and cons, which offer information about the measures that are on the ballot, and the information is provided by non-league folks that either support or do not support the measures. We do welcome all genders and ethnicities as members, and also remove barriers to non-citizens to become League of Women Voter members, as well as those students who are at least 16 years of age. I don't know how many people know that 16-year-olds can now pre-register to vote, but that is an option. The nonpartisan nature of league work is critical to the mission and means that as an organization, we do not support any candidates or support any political parties. To start with, I want to thank our partner, Santa Maria Valley Chamber of Commerce, who did a lot of work to organize and put things together for tonight's forum. We also offer thanks to our forum sponsors, Fund for Santa Barbara, the Santa Maria Times, and NAACP. And finally, thank you to the candidates for stepping up to participate in a public office and for sharing your time with us this evening, especially being a Friday. We also thank the audience for being here tonight and coming out to interview our candidates for a very important job for our city. Tonight's interpreter is Jose Farias. He has headsets available for anybody that needs to have Spanish language interpretation. And now I'm going to go over the rules and the format of tonight's forum. I'm going to start with a land acknowledgement. The League of Women Voters of the North Santa Barbara County humbly acknowledges that we are speaking to you within the traditional homelands of the Chumash tribe. We recognize and are grateful for the First Nations who set an example of how to live in harmony with the natural world. As for forum rules, I am going to ask the audience to hold the applause until our last question prior to the break. Candidates are not to speak of or to each other, but will address their answers to the audience. There will be no unauthorized videotaping, and tomorrow, when we have YouTube available of this form as it appears on League of Women Voters, North Santa Barbara County YouTube channel, there is no editing allowed of the video. And with that said, let's meet our candidates. And we'll start on the far end. We have our incumbent, Alice Patino. And then we have, do you go by Andrew or Andy?
I've gone by Andy on the line.
Andy Foster, and Diana Perez. Well, we do have a fourth candidate, William Smith, who is unable to join us tonight.
Thank you. And thank all of you for being here today. Thank the League very much and the Chamber. These forums are very important so that you can come out and you can see what we are all about. So I'll start off with, I was born in Los Angeles accidentally. My mother, for some reason, my mother thought she needed to go visit some cousins down in San Fernando. And so I was born there, came back to Santa Maria. I'm an Army brat. My dad was in the military, so we lived a lot of different places. My mom met my dad here at a dance, and they were married in 2 weeks. And I have one sister. My mom and dad stayed married until my dad's passing after almost 60 years of marriage. So being raised in the military, you travel around a lot, every 2 years, every 3 years. And we lived up at the Presidio in San Francisco when we were little. And when the war started, my dad was overseas. And in 1946, my mom put 2 little girls on the train to Guadalupe. We went all the way to New York City, got on a troop ship. This was not a cruise, this was a troop ship. And we went to Germany to join my father. In Germany, we were there for almost 3 years, came stateside, went to Yokohama, Japan, where my dad was stationed. When the Chinese came down and crossed that 38th parallel, my mother had a week to pack up everything and come home. And home was always Santa Maria. This is where my grandparents lived. My grandparents settled here in 1928. They migrated up from Mexico, settled here in 1928. So this was home to my mom, and this was home to us. And then I graduated from Santa Maria High School, went to Hancock, went to San Jose State, and then wound up working in General Motors Defense Research Labs. So fast forward, married, 4 kids, 2 kids, got that upside down, 2 kids, 4 grandkids, they all involved in rodeo, and I have just done a lot of volunteering over the years there. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice. We do have timers for tonight, so if you see somebody seems like they didn't quite finish what they were saying, it is because we do time our questions that we have. And then, Andy, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself and just give us some information about your background and why you are running for the office?
Can everybody hear me? Do I need the microphone? Yes. Do I need the microphone? All right, can everybody hear me now? All right, well, I was born and raised here in Santa Maria in 50s. I like to say I was born in the 50s. I was born 2 weeks before 1960. And went to St. Mary's School, went to Santa Maria High. That's either the St. Mary alumni here, not Santa Maria High alumni here. My mother, she was, retired from the county welfare for 20 years. My father worked for the city when he died. He had cancer. And actually, Mayor Hobbs was one of his pallbearers. So growing up, I didn't have really a father figure until about 75 when I was 15, and Bill Livin came to the Boys Club. So I would say Bill Livin was the biggest influence on my teenage years. After graduation, I went to school. I wanted to be actually I didn't want to be an auto mechanic. I wanted to work on my own vehicle. So I went to school to do it. And after that, I joined the Army. And when I got out of the Army, went back to school. Came back to Santa Maria and was a smog mechanic for about 18 years. Married to my wife, 30 years, last 26. And we've been in Santa Maria the whole time.
Thank you for that, Andy. And we'll have Diana also share with us your background, education, and experiences. And we're doing 2 minutes, and then we'll have 1 more minute because we should have had 3. So we'd like to hear why you folks are running as well. Thank you.
Okay, I was raised in Salinas, and I come from humble beginnings. I worked in the strawberry fields as a kid and worked my way through high school and college. I was admitted by UC Santa Barbara and earned a bachelor's degree in political science. Then went on and earned my master's degree from Fresno State in education and counseling. Moved on to become a counselor for high school students, and my first professional jobs were at Santa Barbara City College and UCSB. And so, and then now at Allen Hancock College, and I've been here in Santa Maria for 27 years. I've adopted Santa Maria as my hometown, and I'm very happy to be here. And my experience is, I was appointed as a commissioner for California State Parks, the Off-Highway Vehicle Division. Learned how to handle land and off-road contentious issues, and was appointed to the Santa Maria Joint Union High School District in 2014 and served there for 10 years. And so I've had that public experience. And I have 3 kids. They've all been born here in Santa Maria, and I have always prided myself on wanting to give back to my country and serve my country, and this is the way that I wanted to serve, by being a public servant and serving my community. Thank you.
Alice, would you like to go ahead and talk some more about the reasons you're running?
Okay. Well, I have been involved in just Santa Maria for a long time, and I was on the high school board for a period of time. But when my kids were in school, I was, say if I was room mother, or when they were in 4-H, I was a 4-H leader. When they got into FFA, then I was a beach leader. And so just different things that I could do and I had the time to do, still raising 2 boys. I belonged to the Larks, which was a volunteer group. Some of you remember that. The Larks, and I used to volunteer at the hospital. So just doing a lot of volunteering and being involved in the city of Santa Maria.
All right, the reason why I'm getting involved in this, it seems that we have a law enforcement inadequacy that, traffic control is just non-existent. And I feel that if you can get control, you educate the people what they're doing wrong, they will correct themselves, okay? And it doesn't seem they're getting that. So I think if we do an education program where we have the officers riding along with them would be a citizen, where we would educate as you pull them over, and we could take care of 80% of the problems. That would eliminate a lot of the court systems. It would reduce a lot of excess money that we don't need to be spending. That's not what it is. 15 seconds, okay? Another great thing is, I say that the Constitution it needs to be taught again. People need to be educated on what is constitutional and what isn't. Thank you.
I'm running because I believe that Santa Maria has great potential. There's a lot of opportunities that we can move forward with to make some positive changes in the city. I do have some concerns, and I'd like to see if we could tackle some of the bigger issues of the city, including the budget, public safety, and housing. Those are huge concerns for our community and our residents. And I would like to see if we can address those concerns, and that's the reason I'm running.
Thank you to all three. Okay, so this second question, we sent 2 questions out to the candidates prior to the forum, and we are going to address the second question. Once that is done, we have made available 3x5 cards, and if you would like to write a question down for one or all 3 candidates, please do. 1 question per card, and you can write more than 1 question. Just make sure it's on a separate card. And at break time, we will go through the questions and separate them out into common themes. And after we reconvene, we will be asking those questions so that they will come from you folks. So this second question, the candidates will have 4 minutes to answer each question. The question is, what do you see as the best part of our city, and what areas do you believe need the most improvement? How would you support and improve these areas?
Well, one thing we need to do is that we have, in the older part of the city, we have sidewalks that are not complete. And we need to come in and be able to complete some of those sidewalks. That takes a lot of general fund money. Another thing is that we need more small pocket parks. What we've done is on the northwest side of town, we took Oakley Park, we completely redid it, 2-point-some million. But when people call me and they have an issue with what's going on and you go and see the issue, those are those things you need to address. Not your idea of how you think it should be done, but the people that live in that community. We have landscape districts, so that pays for a lot of the landscaping that's done in different areas. But in the older part of town, we don't have that. We have roads that need to be redone. Again, that comes out of general fund money. And we are redoing our parks. We did Russell Park, which is another beautiful park, and it was one of the older parks. We have redone that. And then we can talk about the riverbed. People used to enjoy walking up and down the levee. And with the influx of the homeless out there, we needed to address that also. So I think part of what I'm seeing is that we need to probably add maybe 2 or 3 people more to code compliance. Some of the things that are going on in the neighborhoods, because some of the neighborhoods are very nice and you have maybe just 2 or 3 people that aren't keeping up the neighborhood, then with code compliance and education. And what we do with the code compliance, they go door to door and they educate people on what's going on in their neighborhoods, what they should be doing. You don't leave your trash cans out. You don't park on the lawn. And all the education that produces a good neighborhood. This is great. With a lot of the building going on, we have too many cars parked in the street. And this has been caused by some of the state laws with ADUs and with building. And so driveways aren't required for ADUs. And some people can put 2 or 3 ADUs in their yard and they have cars. They may not just have 1 car, they'll have several. And so those are the kinds of things that we need to address, and that takes all over the city. Maybe some areas need more love than others, but I think those are the things that we need to address. And we are building the soccer fields that everybody asked for a long time. I think there was a week or 2 ago, I signed the paper that says now we own the land. Thank you.
All right, there are some changes. Like when I drove over here, I noticed that on College crossing Main, that 1 lane and the right lane, people have to go into the right to get around. Now, like what they did on College coming back at Stoll, where they made that a left turn only, That should be a right turn, should be a right turn only, that lane. I noticed that. There's a few other things like that Stoll and the northbound on-ramp. Somebody on Stoll, that on-ramp is like constant traffic, and nobody can cross Stoll coming from the fields. And I think that needs to be addressed. And like the ADUs she was mentioning, I don't think the state can force us to overpopulate. If the state is making laws and they're unconstitutional, we don't have to follow that. Okay? They can't force us to build a place and then there's no parking for it. That shouldn't be right. They should have to add parking for the adults that are going to be going into that ADU, because that's what it is. They're making it a multi-family home that was originally designed to be a single-family home. You know, it's like New York. They built up, so they overpopulated. They're a mess. But here, let's don't overpopulate. Let's not overuse our resources. Okay, the water's only going to last for so long. Once we get so many people in here, we're going to be out of water. So that's something to look for. As far as other things around the city, you know, I haven't really been, you know, looking at places that need to be fixed. I just come along at, well, Grant Street, driving on Grant West from Broadway. There's a stop sign that this tree is blocking. And it's been like that for a couple of years. You only get to about maybe 40 feet before you see the stop sign. At night, you can't even see the line. So people just drive right through that stop sign. It's kind of dangerous. You know, these are things that I would think city, you know, employees would see on a daily basis as they're driving and say, hey, you know, hey, this needs to be cut. You know, are things that the city should be, you know, talking amongst themselves of problem areas. That's something I would address. I want to get into every facet of the city and see meet the people, see how they're operating. Are they working good? Is it worth, you know, having that business? Do we need more people there? You know, that's something that you just have to get in there and look at. You know, I don't know what's going on, but for the most part, I think if we can get traffic control and we can get the people educated on what's constitutional and what isn't, we can take care of a lot of problems. You won't have to be paying for stuff that, you know, is unnecessary. The court system is a system. Somebody gets pulled over and maybe they didn't do anything, but now they have to go to court, they have to pay for it. You know, we could cut down on court costs also. So, because we wouldn't be having people going for no reason. That's about it, I guess. Thank you.
Okay, is this working? Yep. Okay. Great. So let me cover first what is great about our city. I'm going to be a little bit biased, but we have done an incredible job at Santa Maria Joint Union High School District. And over the last 10 years, you can take a look at our schools, and we've doubled the number of students going on to colleges and universities. We have a career technical high school. We have a lot of new buildings. We removed a lot of portables. So we've done a great job at our high school district with amazing leadership. We also have an amazing community college with our current superintendent. We have one of the best community colleges in the state of California right here in Santa Maria. And we have outstanding medical facilities. Marion Hospital is here, and it's a great hospital for our residents. And I also believe that we have great people here in Santa Maria, kind, compassionate, and giving. So this is what makes Santa Maria a great city. What I think could use some improvements, the first and the most pressing for me will be that we have a $20 million deficit. And this is a huge concern because we need to be able to balance the budget. And we've depleted all the reserves. And this occurred because with COVID one-time funds, about 150 new employees were hired. And at some point, we needed to know that that was not going to be sustainable. So, and when we have a $20 million deficit, the city is now considering, in order to balance the budget, considering cutting significant services, including fire and police. or a long list of new taxes. And what I want to make clear to Santa Marians is that I will not be in favor of cutting fire or police services at any point for the city. I think it sends the wrong message to our community, and those are services that every city needs. So that would not be something that I would support. I do believe, I do believe that our firefighters need to be paid a living wage. I think that that is fair for us to be able to provide that to our first responders who are out to save our lives when we need them. I also believe that what would be helpful in the city is that we bring in some tourism and some new businesses. And what I think that Santa Maria needs is businesses that will help us, separate us, and help us stand out from our neighboring cities. I do think that we need some unique locations that will bring tourism in, and I want to support those kinds of changes. We have a lot more traffic today. I think we all notice that, and I would be in favor, in order to save lives, bringing back the cameras we used to have for drivers that run red lights. I would favor that kind of support to keep everyone safe on the roads. And we need affordable housing, and there are 10 projects that are on the pipeline, and the only thing that I think I would do differently is I would try to expedite housing projects to get them out and have more housing available for our residents. And definitely we need to address homelessness. It hasn't been properly addressed, and I think that that's one of the areas that I would like to work on. And okay, and that concludes my comments on this part.
Thank you very much. Appreciate all the information that we just got. And again, if you can write a question, and we have some folks that are going to gather them, we will take a 15-minute break, and if we can return to our seats at 10 after 7, 6, looking at the clock, 10 after 6. We will get started again. So stretch your legs, and the restrooms are to the back. All right. So this is the part of our program that the League has done quite often, where we receive questions from our attendees, and that way we can share with our candidates what is on your mind. And we will start with Alice and then go down. And then the second question will start with Andy, and the third question will start with Diana.
How much time do they get?
They will get 2 minutes per question. Okay. And the first question, how would you address traffic safety, which includes road repairs, speeding, and pedestrian friendly?
I have asked our city manager to ask our chief of police that we have a traffic patrol. I've asked them to please address how we can make it safer in Santa Maria. We're having to deal with people that run the red lights all the time. How can we do this better? Because I don't know how to do this better, but you have traffic experts that can tell you this. We have done calming on North Blosser Road, where they made the roads narrower. We have our public works person that has got a matrix of what roads need to be paved and whatever seal they put on them. And it's according to the roads that are used more and get a lot of traffic on them. And he's got this matrix that he's figured out. And if you notice, we've got road work going on all over town. We took $4,000 out of the general fund to put into road work. We also get Measure A money. We also get LTIP money that we put into the funds. So all this money that we put together and we budgeted, but a lot of it, I don't know, I can't tell you why people keep running red lights. I mean, coming over here tonight, right in front of me. And Education is very, very important. We have programs out there for people to watch. We put them in the schools. Education is important. We have to have our traffic patrol people out there telling us how to make this better, and our public works people making the roads safer by some of the dieting they do. And we're not going to put speed bumps on there because fire does not want that, police do not want that. It's not effective. So all of those things that we need to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice.
All right, well, to have an effective law enforcement, okay, here in Santa Maria, the police department would need, how many people are there in Santa Maria? 150,000 people? They would need 50,000 people at least every day, okay, in order to do proper law enforcement traffic control. But we happen to have that many people here, and in the Constitution, it puts law enforcement in the people's hand, not the government. So we need to get the people back on track to doing that law enforcement, to executing the laws, okay, just like a search warrant, you execute a search warrant the way it says, you execute law the way the law says, you allow this, and if you don't do this, then this is the consequences. Okay, people don't know those laws. The police department don't know those laws. All they do is, when there's an offense, okay, they go the easiest route and let the court system, figure it out. Okay, well that ain't the right way to do it. We need to educate the people that it's their job. Okay, and once we get the people on track with the Constitution, everything will fall in line. It's just that they don't know any better. They've been taught, television teaches them how to drive. Okay, their parents taught them how to go through traffic. Okay, you weave through this way. Okay, because that's the way mom does it, or dad does it. Okay, we need to get them educated in law enforcement and the Constitution. So that's what we need. We need to get the people in with the police department so we can train the police department what they're supposed to be doing, and the police can train them on how they do their job. And then we can teach the people as they come by, what the law is. And we can even do some kind of, I would like to have a forum, a public forum where we just talk about things going on. It has nothing to do with the meetings. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Diana?
Hello? Okay. So I already mentioned that I was interested in bringing back the cameras we used to have for drivers who run red lights. I know it's not going to stop 100% of all drivers, but it's going to discourage quite a few of them from running red lights. I think we all feel that traffic and speeding, and there's a lot of issues with our roadways. And I would encourage, I think that part of the reason is because the city, in their general plan, needed to work on the future of annexing land and expanding to other parts of the city. We have too many, our areas are dense, and we have too many people in smaller areas, and I think that we need to look at what other opportunities could we use to mitigate some of the traffic issues. And I think that the other area is that we already know that in 20 years we're going to have 20 to 30,000 more people living here in Santa Maria, and so the plan for the future needs to be done now. The general plan needs to be completed. We need to look at where we can annex additional land so that we can ease some of that traffic that's happening, because there's no other way. Doing infill and putting more people in smaller, dense places is not going to help. It's only going to get worse. So we need to think about the future, and it requires annexing into other parts of Santa Maria.
Thank you. And we will move to our second question and start with Andy. How would you improve or increase resources for our youth in Santa Maria?
Well, I would like to see, the Constitution get back into schools. Okay, I would like to visit schools to see how they're doing. Do they still do the Pledge of Allegiance, in school? How are they teaching the kids? I think right now that we need to get back to parents teaching the kids and get the government out. Okay, we need to educate our own kids. Okay, the old saying, right? Who raised the kids? The village, right? The village raises the kids, not the government. We need to keep the government out of, the things. The government's job is the common area to make sure that we all have the right-of-way of ingress and egress of the common area, the public. Okay, that's not their control. They don't surveil the public surveils the government. But it seems we have lost sight of that, and now the government is surveilling people. So we need to go away from that, okay, and get the kids. Education starts with the kids. You teach the kids now, okay, to be citizens, not to be consumers, okay. Parents are giving their kids everything they need as an adult right now, okay. They don't need that. They need to grow up first. They need to have a reason to leave the home. Parents are giving their kids everything. Why do they want to leave? They don't. Okay, that's why we have a problem with our kids not wanting to be responsible. We need to teach them to be responsible. Starts with the kids. That's why the only way they're going to change the Israel and the Arab, problem is with the kids. It has to start with the kids, and they keep training the kids how to hate. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Definitely, we definitely need to do more for the youth. I work at Allen Hancock College, and we have many students, and I was on the school board, students who leave our city and actually do not come back because we don't have much to offer here in Santa Maria for young people. And there's two parts to this. One, activities for the youth. I think we need to get more creative with what we can do. I know we have baseball and soccer, but I think that there's other activities that we can bring to the community to help other young people do other things. I've seen in other cities that have brought, for example, an ice skating ring or boxing, or there's other activities that we can bring to our community to get our students involved, our young people involved. And the other part is bringing industries that pay living wages so that our talent that's leaving comes back and wants to serve Santa Maria. I think that those are areas that we can definitely tap into and do more to help our young people. And I think that's it.
In the city of Santa Maria, we have so many organizations, whether it's church organizations, whether it's 4-H, whether it's FFA, and of course you have all the sports going on in the schools. But at the Maldonado Center, we offer such an array of activities for kids. And my daughter-in-law lives in Bakersfield, said, you guys offer more here in Santa Maria than we do in Bakersfield, and that's a town of over 300,000. We also offer a work program so that a lot of the kids go to work at the Maldonado Center. We encourage that. On my Mayor's Youth Task Force, I take these kids out of the city and we go to universities, we go to museums, so they can have a positive experience about what's going on, because they don't know what's going on other than what goes on in Santa Maria. The Boys and Girls Club, the YMCA, Fighting Back Santa Maria Valley, of which I am a board member, does so much with kids. We are in the school, we are doing educating on drugs, we're educating on sex, we're educating where kids have the needs. When I meet with my Mayor's Youth Task Force, I ask these kids, what do you want? What can you see that we can do more for you at the Abel Maldonado Center? And they tell me. And we have a girls' self-defense class. We also take these kids out and do community work. A lot of them don't realize that they belong to a community that really, really values them. We go out and do community work, whether it's raking things at Prescott Park, whether it's laying down sod someplace. I took my kids with my park commissioner. We did a house where a hoarder lived, and we won't do that one again. But I mean, it's really, I want to give them a lot of experiences and show them what can be done here. We have a great boxing program in the city of Santa Maria. It's great. We also do, during the summertime, we do the Safe and Strong, where kids can come to the park and they have someone at the park, that youth that we hire through Recs and Parks that helps them, and it's a safe place for them to be. And this is what's important. I ask my kids on my Mayor's Youth Task Force, do you feel safe in school? Do you feel safe coming to school? And do you feel safe going home?
Thank you. Our next question, we will start with Diana. And it is, several news outlets have reported anywhere from $16 to $21 million deficit for our school budgets. City budgets, excuse me. What are your thoughts on this, as how it developed, and your solutions to improving the deficit?
I definitely think that has to be the #1 concern for the city. A city cannot function with this excessive deficit. And I've already mentioned that unfortunately our city council voted to hire permanent staff that they could not afford to. And so, and in the next agenda, there is an agenda item to look at what cuts and what new taxes they are going to propose to the residents. And I believe that what we need to look at is ways to generate revenue for the city. It's going to cost us more in the future. We can't be at a $20 million deficit and think that it's not going to cost us more to run the city. So we have to find ways to generate revenue. Our nearby cities are generating $4 billion in tourism, and Santa Maria is not providing that kind of tourism, and that's what we can change, and that's where we generate the revenue. We need to support our current businesses, future businesses, and put Santa Maria on the map so that we can be able to pay the liabilities today and in the future. And that's, I think, the change that needs to happen at City Council, and that's the change I want to bring to the city.
The amount is 16 million, which, give or take a few million, and we're not happy with that. We are going to be looking at a list of options that we've put together, which is we could increase sales tax. This has to go to the vote of the people. Landscape district, also a vote of the people. The downtown improvement district, also a vote of the people. Transient occupancy tax is down now where it was higher. Our sales tax has gone down. Parking fees, property tax stays about the same or gets a little bit better. That doesn't fluctuate much. We updated the recreation and park fees. That is not popular. People complain when you up their fees. The utility user tax fees, Guadalupe does that, and we could impose that also. And business license incomes, the restructure that we do on there. But let me tell you something. Salaries, benefits, pensions are all part of this package that have gone up. And during COVID, we hired 6 other people. They have either taken positions with the city or someone, I don't know where this other figure came up, and someone has left the city, but 5 of them are employed in the city with openings that we had. Our workman's comp has gone up 49%. Our liability insurance has gone up 45%. Our claims and losses have gone up. But when you have salaries and benefits and pensions that are making this spike go up, we have to address it, and we are going to have options to address it. Also, I think a lot of people missed that during COVID, our employees got $10,000 for hazardous pay. $10,000 apiece. I think that it's a challenge. Back in 2008, we had to go through the same thing.
Okay, first of all, you got to learn to live within your means. Okay, you have to. Otherwise, you're just going to go into debt. Okay, we're teaching our kids, okay, this is how you get credit. Okay, this is how you go into debt. Okay, this is how you keep your credit cards at a maximum. Okay, and this is how you die in debt. Okay, we need to stop teaching people to go into debt. Okay, it's like debt is just normal. And the city being in debt is normal. So we need to find out ways to cut the budget, okay? It's not the government's job to make money. It's the government's job to spend the money that the people give them. So we got to do that. And there are probably a lot of things. See, safety is only mentioned in the Constitution 3 times. Okay? It's only constitutional during a rebellion, during an insurrection, or during an invasion. Safety is not guaranteed. Your health is not guaranteed. Okay? That's your personal responsibility. But security is everyone's responsibility. Okay? We need to learn that. So once we make people responsible, and we go through the city and see where we don't need this department, because that's not the city's job, that's the people's job. So we need to get, out of the people's job and just stay within our job of common area. Okay, ensuring people have that common area. And businesses, it's not the government that creates the business. Government creates the environment for business, right? You have to allow the business to be there. Okay, you can't say, no, we're not going to have that type of business in this area. So we need to look at that also. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And this next question, we will start with Alice. Talk about the current state of our public safety, including first responders, firefighters, police department, and how can we ensure adequate community safety resources?
I'm not sure what they're asking. Community resources public safety has always been very, very important. And I don't know that's, it's going to go away. We have just hired, I think it was 9 new firefighters about 2 months ago. And so they are up to staffing in the city. We have about 14, I think, for police officers, so that we're up to staffing. And it's always been a high priority. So can you read that? I'm not sure what the question is.
So talk about the current state of our public safety and how would you ensure that we have safety going forward with issues like the crime, gang activity, and just everyday policing.
Okay, crime is down in the community. I have here motor vehicle theft is down 65%, theft is down 17%, burglary 10%, rape 8%, and robbery 4%. We have one of the best trained police forces in the whole state. And I know that if some of you were around when we did the MS-13 in March, they did an absolute excellent job of getting people that were here, one person in Arvin and one person in Ohio at the same time in the morning without anything happening to our police officers. And we value them. People from other states wanted to know how Santa Maria did this so they could replicate it. We think it's very important to have well-trained and the resources that we need to go with our police and with our firefighters.
All right, we need to get our mindset going from a government law enforcement safety, from safety to security. Stop saying safety. Just like we need to stop saying democracy, because democracy and the Constitution do not coexist. Okay, it's a republic. Okay, guaranteed republic. Okay, we all are supposed to guarantee that. If we take an oath to uphold and defend that, okay, that's what you're guaranteeing, a republic, not a democracy. So what we have to do is think on security. The Second Amendment says, a well-regulated militia, comma, being necessary for the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, comma, shall not be infringed. Why do police officers carry weapons? As a deterrent to get the people to do what they want. Okay? And right now, the government has the deterrent to make the people do what they want. Okay? So they are enforcing safety, which is not constitutional, and are forgetting about security, which we don't have. We're not secure because we're not free. Okay? So we need the people back to law enforcement like the Constitution was designed. And then you will have security, and your safety is your personal responsibility, not the government's. Okay, it's not my responsibility to ensure you're safe throughout your life, but it is my responsibility to ensure you are secure, that the place is secure. But we're not doing that, and that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Public safety is one of my top priorities. Currently, our firefighters don't have a contract. They've been underpaid and undervalued by our city council, and we're not even properly planning for future public safety. We don't have enough today, and we can't even afford for the future public safety. So this will be a number one issue for me. And I disagree that there's less crime. I actually feel that a lot of residents don't feel as safe as they used to. We have more crime, we have more theft, more traffic, there's just a lot, many issues that are inflicting our city. And I believe in supporting additional fire and police. And we're gonna need it today, and we're going to need it in the future. And that doesn't seem to be the priority for our city council, but that will be my priority if I'm elected. I think that if you don't feel safe, it doesn't matter how many beautiful condos or apartments we build. If you're not safe, you're not going to feel great about being in the city. And I think that has to be number one.
Thank you. And we now have our last question for tonight, and we will start with Andy. It has to do with housing. What are the housing challenges, and how would you address and improve on the lack of housing, affordable housing, especially as our community grows?
Well, come next year after the election, I believe the cost of things will come down, and people will ease a little bit in the cost of living. Okay, housing market eventually will come back down too. It's supply and demand. Okay, if there's no demand, then the supply is going to go up or down or whatever till the demand comes. Okay, and as far as what's happening with the housing is we are overpopulated. We are making single-family homes multifamily, and the government is saying we have to. Well, that ain't right. Okay, so we need to get back to if somebody sells a house, okay, it can no longer be a multifamily home. It has to be a single family. Okay, we can't build up, because you build up, you're going to overpopulate the city, and we'll overdo our resources. So we need to correct, okay, this misdeed of allowing so many adults in a one area, because it creates a car mess. Because the more adults you have, the more cars you're going to have. And it doesn't matter if it's a block from the bus stop, they're not going to use the bus, they're taking their car. This is California. Your car is your freedom, right? Nobody's going to give up the car to ride a bus. So, we need to address the overpopulation of the land, not of the people, but of the land. Thank you.
We definitely need more housing. We needed more housing 10 years ago. And here's the thing: when you're a leader, an elected leader, you have to think not just of today, but the next decade or two. And we have housing projects that are coming. I would want to expedite those, because that would help with some of the high rents that we see here in our community. So, and then typically, when you have housing projects, 25% is allocated for affordable housing. So developers still need to make profit on their investments, and so 25% is typically what is allocated for affordable housing. But I think also we need to look at other avenues. I'm concerned that too many of our residents are getting into rentals versus home ownership. The American dream has always been to own your home, and I think that we ought to look at a creative idea like affordable home ownership, because that's what creates generational wealth for folks. And we do have housing that's coming to downtown. 1,000 more residents are slated to be downtown. I think it's a lot of folks that are going to be there with not enough resources to serve all of the folks that are coming. So housing is important. I think we need to expedite into other areas with mixed use, and hopefully that will keep some of the high costs down in terms of housing.
Housing. Cities don't build houses. We don't build residential. Developers come in and they buy the land and they build. And then the state comes in and tells you what they want you to build. And let me go to ADUs for a minute. We are the capital of ADUs in the state of California. And ADUs now, you can be 4 feet away from another ADU. In the backyard of your house, you can build ADUs, 4 feet away from your lot line. And if you build them under 750 square feet, you don't have to pay any AB 1600 fees. You don't pay for the library, you don't pay for fire, you don't pay police, you don't pay for roads. But you're generating water, you're generating waste, and the trash cans out on the street, and all the cars parked bumper to bumper. And this is Senate Bill 2097. The governor has come in and said, if you have a building downtown, like the Boot Barn or Mervin's building, they can come in and put housing in there, and we can do nothing about it. If you're the high rise out there off of Skyway, Senate Bill 35, the state came in, didn't talk to us, nothing. They can build it, and you know what happened? When it came to hook up the sewer line, it did not hook up to our sewer line. And so they wanted to put a pipe over 135 and have a pumping truck on the side, and we said no. I've got a list here of affordable housing we are building and building in the city. Santa Maria Studios out there. We have Centennial Gardens, 160 apartments, the Gateway Mixed Use, 18, Betaravia Plaza. Yes, we want to expedite it, but that's what our planning department is doing. They are expediting it as best as they can.
Thank you. The information tonight was very helpful, and we are now going to take a minute for each candidate to wrap up and give us some last thoughts before we end our evening. And we will start with Diana.
First of all, thank you all for coming tonight. Appreciate everyone showing up. I think we all care about Santa Maria, and that's why we're here. I want to make my pledge. This is going to be my pledge for all of you that are listening. If I'm elected mayor of Santa Maria, I promise to make public safety my #1 concern. I will expedite housing projects by removing any barriers that I see. I do want to create a coalition of leaders, city leaders, county supervisors to address homelessness. I want to make sure that there are businesses that are thrive, and that we bring new industries that pay living wages for our residents. I'm going to address traffic. I want to look at renegotiating the model lease program, which supports our senior citizens and our veterans. And I want to balance the budget and restore our reserves. And I will assure that our firefighters are paid a fair wage. I think under my leadership, I'm an action-oriented person. I like to get to the point and work hard, and that's what I will do for the city. I will address all of these issues, and I will assure that I will not wait for an election year to address them. I will address them on the first year that I'm elected mayor to Santa Maria. And thank you all for being here tonight.
Thank you. It has come to the attention of the San Maria City, to the city of San Maria, that city employees are spreading the falsehood that 3 San Maria council members defunded your fire department. All 5 council members approved the budget. The city wishes to correct the record. San Maria City Council has never made a decision to defund the city fire department. In fact, the council has incrementally increased funding for the fire department. Fire department funding was $20.1 million in 2020-21, $22.7 million in 22-23, and is now $25.7 million in 2024. These are the facts that adopted the city budget posted on the website. We have 9 new sworn positions in the fire department, and the Fire Prevention Bureau, which has been among the highest priorities of the fire department, the Bureau is fully staffed. The city offered the firefighters union the same 2-year contract proposed that was accepted by SEIU, including 5%, 5%, and benefits, and that's 10%, and it was rejected.
Okay, anybody who has taken an oath or affirmation to uphold and defend the Constitution, that is including and up to your life, okay? If you are not willing to give your life for this Constitution, don't take the job. Okay? That's the most important thing, is we need to learn the Constitution. If you haven't read it and you don't know it, and you're raising your hand, you know that you're doing your people a disservice. Okay, so know it. And the problem with it is it's been amended, but it hasn't been fixed. It is a pain to read. So I went through and I took all the stuff out that wasn't necessary, that had been amended, and put in the amendments, and it's so much easier to read. You just go through it, and if you understand it, okay, it would make, the government is not the people's job, okay? So don't let the government tell you that you have to. Fight for it.
Okay, that wraps us up tonight. Thank you to everybody for coming, and thank you again to our sponsors, the Chamber, NAACP, Fund for Santa Barbara, and hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your evening.